Hello and welcome to the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. I am your host and beat reporter, and I've been your beat reporter covering the Jacksonville Jaguars for On SI every single day since August 2019, and we are continuing to march through another offseason together. As always, you can find our 24/7, around the clock, 100% free, boots on the ground coverage of the Jacksonville Jaguars each and every day on social media such as Facebook and Twitter at Jaguars on SI. You can also find us at www.si.com/NFL/Jaguars. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. Today, we are going to start a series where we are ranking the Jaguars draft picks from 1 through number 9. We'll start with number 9, so actually from 9 through number 1. On who we think will make the biggest impacts in 2025. Now, number 1's a little obvious, so we are going to start at number 9, and we will continue this series until we are through all 9 draft picks. Now, that might be some days we handle some news and, don't necessarily do this for the next 9 days, but over the next weeks, we will have this series wrapped up. So, today, and I'd like to preface this by saying I think this Jaguars draft class could produce several rookie starters. I truly do. So today I am going to start off with number 9. And the Jaguars rookie I expect to make the smallest impact in 2025. USC center, offensive lineman, Jonah Monheim. Now, it's not... I want to go on record and saying this has nothing to do with his skill set or his game. Watching his USC tape, he's a really smart guy, really good movement skills. He fell to the 7th round because of, some of his measurements. I think he's a guy who very well, could crack out some kind of role on an offensive line. Easy to see why they liked him. I thought his movement skills at rookie minicamp were really impressive. And he's somebody who he's had the versatility to play tackle, to play guard, and to play center. I believe he played every position at USC other than left guard. Played extensively there. So moved to center last season. Obviously played well. Obviously was a draftable prospect. The reason, though, that I have him at number 9 in terms of rookie impact, so I expect him to be the least impactful rookie draft pick, is relatively simple. Look at all these other draft picks, and you have starters and you have backups. I think at the least, the first 3 guys they drafted should be rookie starters. After that, you have some guys who are part-time contributors, can maybe play some role packages, etc., or can play some kind of snaps from special teams. For backup offensive linemen, though, it is hard to, really fall into that contributor or special teams impact role. If you're an offensive lineman, you're drafted either as a starter or a backup. Those are the roles offensive linemen play on game day. Jack Kaiser, for example, could play a number of roles on game day, even if he's not starting. Jonah Monheim, however, just because of the position that he plays, is not afforded that luxury. And like I said, I don't think that has anything to say about him as a player. I don't want it taken that way. I just think it's important, to recognize that not every single one of these picks is going to start, obviously, right away, make an impact right away. And if you're an offensive lineman, like I expect Wyatt Milam to step in there and at least compete for a starting job at left guard. If I was them, and I haven't seen the competition start yet, I'd start Milam. See what he has out of the gate. He has the size. He has the strength. He looked physically like an NFL guard in person at minicamp. But for Monheim, there's not a sense that he's going to be pushing Robert Hainsey for a spot on the starting lineup. Now, I do think that he will push for a spot on the 50. Push for a spot. What do I keep calling it a sport? Push for a spot on the 53-man roster as he competes with potentially Luke Fortner for a spot on the team as the backup center. But, if he does win that role, he's still the backup center. Milam might be competing with Ezra Cleveland to be in every week, every down starting guard. The other difference is Ezra Cleveland was not acquired by this regime. That's another reason why Milam has a chance, even though he was a third-round pick, to be a starter. Monheim, on the other hand, there's not a question who's the starting center with this regime. It is Robert Hainsey, and that is very, very clear just right off the bat. He's starting at center. Patrick McCarry starting at right guard. Everything else, of course, you would expect Walker Little and Anton Harrison to start the tackle spots, but everything else is going to be sorted out in the practice field. Because unless this regime brought you in, there are questions. So there are questions with Ezra Cleveland, questions obviously with Luke Fortner. So at the end of the day, Monheim, I think, is a solid player. I'm interested to see his development. I'm interested to watch the training camp battle between him and Luke Fortner. It will be on my, annual list of training camp battles to watch. I truly believe so. Because you have a guy entering a contract year who has 2 years of starting experience. He played for Cohen in college at Kentucky in his final season. He probably knows big chunks of the offense. I wouldn't say he knows the entire offense because obviously Liam Cohen is running something different now 4 years later than he was running when he was the Kentucky Wildcats offensive coordinator. But he still has some knowledge of the scheme, knowledge of the coach, etc. That has to provide some kind of value. And then you have Monheim. Their second to last pick of the draft, probably doesn't pass everybody's, checkbox of, okay, what does this starting offensive lineman look like? But it didn't matter at USC. He's tenacious. He's versatile. He's athletic. If you listen to the way Lincoln Riley spoke about him on 1010 XL last week, it certainly seems like he was a pillar of that program, of that locker room, of that offensive line unit. So I think there are a lot of things going for him, and there's even some things for, going for Fortner. So that will be a position battle that I'm interested to watch. But even in the event that he wins it, he's still the backup center behind Hainsey. So that is why I have him coming in at number 9 of my list of potential most impactful rookies. We will be back on the next episode that we do one of these on number 8. You guys can probably expect number 1, but we'll see how we order the rest of the list. Thank you guys, as always, really, for listening. Please, please don't forget to download at Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Leave a review, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. It greatly helps me. And I can't tell you guys, the fans, enough how much you mean to me, how much the listeners mean to me. You can also find all of my YouTube videos, from the team, whether it's just podcasts or press conferences or interviews or practice highlights at Sports Videos on SI. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe to us there as well. Thank you guys. As always, I'm John Shipley. We'll be back next time.